rising gracefully into the sky, with tiered roofs that seem to dance upward and intricate silhouettes etched against the horizon. Chinese pagodas are more than just striking monuments. They are powerful symbols that reflect the heart of Chinese culture, spirituality, and artistry. Whether they stand on quiet hilltops, hidden among temple complexes, or in the middle of busy cityscapes, they inspire wonder. But what many people don't realize is that these iconic structures didn't actually begin in China. The origins of the pagoda trace back to ancient India, where the structure began as the stupa, a mound-like tomb built to house sacred relics and serve as a site of meditation. When Buddhism began to spread across Asia, reaching China during the Han Dynasty, it brought with it not only religious teachings, but also this architectural form. In China, the stupa evolved into something new, the pagoda. Influenced by local building styles, materials, and spiritual beliefs, Chinese craftsmen reshaped the stupa into a structure that would become one of the most recognizable elements of Chinese architecture. Early Chinese pagodas kept the spiritual purpose of their Indian ancestors, but their design and function shifted to reflect Chinese values. Some were circular, others square, hexagonal, or octagonal. Their number of floors varied, and these elements often reflected the artistic tastes and architectural trends of different dynasties. During the Tang Dynasty, pagodas became more ornate and complex in design. Then, in the Song Dynasty, they reached greater heights, literally, with taller, more slender forms that emphasized elegance and verticality. Materials used to build pagodas were equally diverse. Some were made entirely of wood, others from brick or stone, and many combined several materials. Each dynasty introduced new techniques and innovations to strengthen and beautify the structure. Over time, these changes allowed pagodas to not only grow taller and more majestic, but also become more resistant to the elements. In their earliest days, pagodas were deeply tied to Buddhism. They weren't just places of worship, but were also built to enshrine sacred relics, scriptures, and statues of the Buddha. Devotees visited them to pray, believing that doing so would bring protection, blessings, and good fortune. In fact, it was widely believed that having a pagoda in or near a village could protect the people from disasters and misfortunes. Pagodas were built not only by monks, but also by emperors, officials, and ordinary citizens, each hoping to bring spiritual peace to their land and people. As centuries passed and Chinese society became more secular, the function and symbolism of the pagoda began to evolve. The spiritual significance didn't disappear, but it was gradually joined, and in some cases replaced, by cultural and aesthetic purposes. Pagodas became focal points for art, history, and landscape. While they still stood near temples, they were no longer exclusively religious. Visitors came to admire their beauty, climb to the top for a view, or explore their architecture. In many modern interpretations, pagodas are designed with elegance in mind, decorated with carved dragons, phoenixes, and other creatures of Chinese mythology, not only for visual appeal, but also for their symbolic connection to feng shui. Feng shui, the ancient Chinese practice of arranging space to promote harmony, has embraced the pagoda as a powerful tool. Its vertical form is thought to represent growth and spiritual progress, and the number of tiers often holds deep metaphysical meaning. Odd-numbered tiers are especially important. In Chinese numerology, odd numbers, like 3, 5, 7, and 9, represent yang energy, which symbolizes motion, creativity, and life. The 9-tiered pagoda is particularly revered, associated with completeness, celestial power, and imperial authority. The spiritual geometry of the pagoda goes beyond its floors. Many pagodas are intentionally aligned with cardinal directions or situated according to feng shui energy lines. This wasn't accidental. Builders placed them strategically to connect heaven and earth, to balance energy flows, and to bring harmony to the surrounding environment. Every part of a pagoda, from its shape to its location, carried meaning. Historically, pagodas also had practical uses. As tombs for spiritual leaders, places of meditation, and storage spaces for religious artifacts, they played multiple roles in Buddhist communities. During times of war, they sometimes even served as watchtowers. Their tall form made them ideal for observing the surrounding landscape. And pagodas aren't just architectural marvels, they're also deeply embedded in Chinese folklore. Stories tell of dragons sealed beneath their foundations, or powerful energies anchored by their presence. In some traditions, it's believed that building a pagoda atop a ley line can suppress malevolent forces. One famous example is the White Pagoda in Beijing, said to house sacred relics that help maintain the city's spiritual balance. These legends only deepen the mystery and reverence surrounding these structures. Now, when comparing Chinese pagodas with Japanese ones, it's important to understand the cultural exchange that shaped both styles. While Japanese architecture was heavily influenced by the Chinese Tang dynasty, the two traditions eventually grew apart. Chinese pagodas tend to be ornate, built with materials like wood, brick, and even porcelain. They're often richly decorated with gemstones, carvings, and colorful tiles. Japanese pagodas, on the other hand, typically feature exposed wood, simpler shapes, and minimal ornamentation. Structurally, Chinese pagodas are often octagonal, while Japanese ones usually have a rectangular design. The basic structure of a Chinese pagoda consists of three main parts: the base, the body, and the steeple. The base forms the foundation. Early designs were low and compact, but during the Tang dynasty, they became more prominent, allowing for taller buildings. The body makes up the majority of the structure and can be either solid or hollow. Different materials led to different building techniques. Wooden pagodas had visible columns and internal staircases. Brick and wood combinations often used a tube-style layout with spiral stairs. Fully brick pagodas were built with arches and central pillars to distribute weight and add strength. The steeple, the point at the top of the roof, is not just a decorative flourish. It plays a vital role in directing rainwater away and maintaining the building's integrity. Over time, improvements in construction methods allowed for more elaborate roof designs, with graceful curves and detailed ornaments, including tiles and figurines. One of the most fascinating features of the ancient Chinese pagoda is its resilience to earthquakes. In earthquake-prone areas, especially in wooden pagodas, the structure has stood the test of time. The Yingxian wooden pagoda, for instance, has survived numerous earthquakes since it was built in 1056. Its secret lies in its design: a central pillar that allows it to sway instead of break, bracket sets that interlock without nails, and tiered roofs that distribute seismic energy downward and outward. It's an extraordinary combination of engineering knowledge and spiritual symbolism. Several famous pagodas across China continue to showcase the grandeur and diversity of these structures. The Giant Wild Goose Pagoda in Xi'an, built in 652 during the Tang dynasty, originally had 5 levels, but now stands at 7. It holds the scriptures brought back from India by the monk Xuanzang and is an enduring symbol of devotion and scholarship. The Liuhe Pagoda in Hangzhou, also known as the Pagoda of 6 Harmonies, overlooks the Qiantang River and was believed to calm the tides through spiritual power. The Iron Pagoda in Kaifeng, made from glazed bricks to mimic the look of iron, is a marvel of Song dynasty craftsmanship and has withstood centuries of natural disasters. Today, many people wonder, can you actually live in a pagoda? While they may be open for public visits, staying overnight in a pagoda is usually not allowed. Some do permit short stays for meditation or spiritual practice, but they are not residential spaces in the traditional sense. In feng shui, pagodas also appear as miniature charms known as wenchang pagodas, or education towers. These are popular among students and professionals alike, believed to enhance concentration, academic success, and career advancement. A 5-tiered wenchang pagoda represents the 5 elements and is used to block bad luck. A seven-tiered one symbolizes the seven treasures of Buddhism and the northern stars. The nine-tiered version represents a complete cycle, bringing stability and protection. Where you place the Wenchang Pagoda also matters. Near the entrance, it wards off negative energy. In a study area, it supports learning. For professional success, it's best placed in the northwest part of your space. Some place it in shops to protect their business, or behind their office chair to guard against betrayal. In the end, the Chinese pagoda is far more than just a structure. It is a fusion of art, science, religion, and cultural memory. From its Indian origins to its unique Chinese transformation, from sacred tomb to tourist attraction, it has carried the weight of spiritual purpose, architectural genius, and cultural pride. Whether you see it as a place to reflect, a marvel of design, or a tool to balance energy, one thing is clear. The pagoda is one of the most enduring and meaningful symbols of Chinese civilization. For more details on this topic, check out the corresponding article on our website. You can find the link in the description below. Thanks for watching.